what's the first step in pursuing a nursing home abuse or neglect case? Well, the first thing you need to do, and I suggest this, is to contact myself, call my office, and what we would do is we'd discuss the case with you on the telephone, some of the basics of that. Then at that time, what we'd probably suggest you do is to go get the medical records in regard to your case. Most of these nursing home abuse cases deal with the medical records. That's the record as to what happened at the nursing home. So we suggest you do that. Then send us the medical records. If we request them, send them to us, and then we'll briefly review the records. If we feel that your case has some merit, then what we will do is we'll set up an appointment with you and talk to you about your case specifically. After that particular time, we will then have if we decide to accept the case, we will then have the case reviewed by a nursing expert, a person who's an expert at nurses in regard to nursing homes. At that time, if the nursing expert believes that the nurses violated the standard of care or did something that nurses should not do in a nursing home, then we would consider pursuing the case further. About that same time, maybe even before then, we would have you sign a contract if you want us to help you. What we do is work on contingency. What that means is we do not make any money unless you win your case, and you don't pay us any money unless you win your case. Now, there are some exceptions to that, but that's generally what the rule is. At that particular time, after our nurses have reviewed the cases, our expert nurses, we would probably then send it to a medical doctor to have him to review it. If he also agrees with the nurses and believes that the nursing home was negligent in the care of your loved one, we then more than likely would go ahead and file a lawsuit against the nursing home. At that time, we would file the lawsuit, and then what normally happens though is after we file the lawsuit, the nursing home would hire defense attorneys. They would then send us paperwork, what's usually considered interrogatories and production of documents, and then we eventually go to mediation, and then eventually hopefully we would settle the case, or we go to trial on the case. And at that time, if we didn't settle the case before trial, we would let a jury decide whether or not the nursing home was negligent in regard to the care of your loved one. So generally speaking, that's the timeline of the case. Now then, just to let you know though, if we were to file the lawsuit today, it would probably take 1.5 to 2 years before it made it to trial. So just be aware of the time limits and the time that is going to be spent on this. Also, this is very expensive. We work on contingency. Generally speaking, not always, but generally speaking, we front the cost on this thing. Unless we win, we are not paid any money. The problem though is most of these cases will take anywhere from $25,000 to $75,000 of my money outlay on this thing, not counting attorneys' time and fees and those kind of things. But it's usually anywhere from $25,000 to $75,000. So we have to make a cost-benefit analysis to see whether or not the case is worth us pursuing. That's why most attorneys do not accept nursing home abuse cases, because of the outlay of money they have to pay, and many times they do not receive enough money back from a settlement or a jury verdict to justify the cost. But again, give us a call, please talk to us, and then we can go from there, and hopefully we can help you out with this.